Hi everyone, this is Sandy Reese with StampinCrew.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of How They Make That. Today we are making a sample off of page 122 in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. And this one features the Star of Light stamp set and coordinating Starlight Thinlet dies. This is such a great stamp set, and it's got several different images you can use in the die set as well. So for this sample, we're going to be using the sponging technique, and then just 3 pieces of cardstock. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to do that. Our base is soft sky cardstock, so we're just going to fold this in half. Set that aside, and then we've cut out this pretty big star image from the Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper. So we're going to set those aside until it's time to stamp. And then I've just used Whisper White cardstock, and the majority of this card is sponging. So there's a couple different ways. I'm a light sponger. Now with this card, if you want to be careful not to sponge too heavy or get your fingernail in there, because it will leave little marks that you may not want. So I like to start with the lightest, and this card has this white, kind of glowing area, so I'm trying not to get, I'm just doing my corners and leaving a little white there. So I just kind of mark out my borders. If you get a little of the lighter in there, it's okay. But with this sponging, you want to do fairly light, and it's going to take a little while. Then I'm going to start, you can go back and do, your different colors. So next I'm just going to do a light bit of the Bermuda Bay. I'm going to come back with that in a minute, and then I'm going to do a little bit of the Island Indigo. So you can watch, this is going to take a little while to get the depth of color you need for your sponging. Okay, now as we get close to being done, sometimes I'll like to take my lightest shade, and I just kind of do a little bit of a very light rub, blend it just a hair. Okay, and that gives us a good background. On the sample, I think it's a little bit lighter and over to the left, but that's going to be fine. So my next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, we'll go ahead and use our embossing buddy, and we're going to rub this, I'm just going to pat it here and rub it over real well, because we're going to do some embossing, and we don't want the powder to stick to any of that sponging that we've done. So we're going to use this big swirly star image and our Versamark. And if you notice on the sample, the stamped image is longer than our stamp is. So we're actually going to achieve this look by stamping twice. So I'm going to ink up my biggest swirl and a small swirl next to it, about halfway down. All right, so I'm going to stamp that here. And then I'm going to clean it really well. Dry that off. And then I'm going to ink up the smaller end right here. I'm going to ink that up to about halfway. And then I'm going to stamp that coming down from the opposite corner going towards the center. So they should meet up about in the center, and then that's going to be covered with our star. All right, we'll use some white embossing powder. Okay, that looks perfect. All right, we're going to heat this. Okay, and then we're going to, we'll go ahead and glue our star on. And then we are going to, excuse me, do a little more stamping. I'm going to stamp my couple of stars up here, and maybe a couple of stars down over to the right. And then we're going to use this saying that says the light of heaven. I'm going to stamp this right down here. All right. It looks like, now this is another great thing about Stampin' Up. Every time you do a card, it's going to be a little different. So I went a little bit darker on this one. I'm going to use a little snail adhesive to attach this. Every time you do this, it's going to look a little different to give you that beautiful handmade look. And there you go. Different look every time, but basically the same card. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like measurements for the projects, then just click on the link in the video description. And if you'd like to see more of these, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much.